Okay, good, I'm live. I was worried that I had pushed the wrong button. Okay, hi everybody. You're here for Weaving Wednesday, I hope. And hang on while I grab, I think that's the right one. Yes, that's the 24-inch shuttle. I think I should use the big, no, I'll use the 24-inch shuttle. Got two of these. There we go, two 24-inch shuttles. Alrighty. So, hey everybody. Sorry about that. I clicked live and I wasn't sure that I was live. So, today on Weaving Wednesday, my really exciting things to tell you about are, yeah, I made a lot of mistakes when I was trying to do this warp. Ha! So many mistakes. So we're going to be talking about that. I also need to put in some waste yarn, only I don't have waste yarn down here. I have nice yarn down here. And so I went and grabbed some selvages. Haha, yeah, smart, right? Selvages. So I grabbed some fabric selvages out of one of my boxes because I'm a teeny bit of a hoarder. A little bit. So I keep a lot, not all of, but a lot of the scraps that come off of my like quilting and sewing, as well as my knitting projects, and I take those and use them for other things. Sometimes you need like a little dab of yarn or just a little bit of fabric or something for stuffing. So yeah, so I keep all of those things. So what do we need to talk about today? The important things are, of course, that the year of self-care is still ongoing, and you, of course, can still participate. All you need to do is take a photo, excuse me, and put it up on social media, whatever social media you like, but make sure that you tag us so that we know that you are entering the year of self-care. And remember, we do a monthly prize. That's right, a monthly prize. So even if you didn't win last month, you could still win this month. Year of Self-Care. You can check it out at blacksheepfiberemporium.com. Just click on either the banner or the drop-down menu under, I think, classes and events. I think it's an event. Anyway, Year of Self-Care. You can find it there. What else do I have going on? Slow Crawl is coming up, which is very exciting. I have the passport almost ready to print. It was ready to print, and then one of our shops is moving, so I'm going to fix that. And hopefully it hasn't been printed yet. So that's something else on my list to do today. Another thing that is coming up is Tina's talk on Friday is going to be an hour earlier this week, and that is because of Tina and David flying back to Oregon from Arizona. So look for Tina's talk an hour earlier on Friday. I already fixed the event on our Facebook page, so if you follow the events, then you should already have notification that it is an hour earlier. What else do I have going on? I'm trying to think. Monday, we have our talk about the history of lace knitting, and then the following Monday, we will again talk about history of, we'll do knotted lace or needle laces, including knotted lace, and that should finish up most of our history of, and then we'll get back to learning more things. I am going to be unavailable the first Monday in April, which I believe is the 5th. So I won't have a talk on April 5th, but you know, I'm trying to put the events up every week so that you know what to expect. And don't forget to like our page and follow our YouTube channel, TikTok channel, Instagram feed. I don't remember. Anyway, all those different social media things so you can see the latest about what's going on, because we do post a lot of stuff. I do a TikTok video almost every day, and sometimes those make it over to Instagram and Facebook, and then I try to put up Instagram and Facebook photos as well. And I'm doing the blue caterpillar shawlette knit along, only I'm making mine in green, and that'll be on Tuesdays, at least for the foreseeable future. So you're welcome to join in on that as well. Now that we made it through all of that, let's go ahead and get started and talk about everything that went wrong with my project over here on the loom. So here I have my lovely warp and striping pattern, only I screwed up I totally screwed up. And I thought that I had mapped out a 28 thread repeat. It was 26 threads, so when I got to this side, I did not have enough yarn over here, and I had an uneven warp. So that was a really fun discovery. And yes, I was trying to use my knitting software to just make a little guide, a little stripe guide, because I mean, that's all I was trying to do with my warp was, oh, I'm just gonna make some stripes. Yeah, I failed. I failed because I didn't count right. So that was a 26 thread repeat instead of a 28 thread repeat, which meant that the count that I needed for the width of my project was wrong. So that was fun. And then after I fixed that, right, I got all the way done, and Ina yesterday helped me with my warp. And Avi also helped me. He donated his dumbbells so that I could use them to weight my warp. I got everything wound on and got my packing put in. And, you know, I'm using the packing that Tammy Poff recommended, which is the squishy shelf liner. And I like it all right. I don't know if I'll always use a squishy shelf liner, but I'm going to try it for 2 or 3 projects to see how it affects my project. And yes, I am using my poor sad first woven item. You see I have bad edges. Oof. But you know what? It's warm, it's wearable, so what do I care, right? Anyway, I got everything wound on and I started to tie on my warp, and then I realized I hadn't threaded my heddle. I had everything in the slots. So luckily I had only done like, I don't know, 4 bundles of tie-ons. But yeah, that's a mistake I tried to make. Luckily I didn't. So I backed out of that, and I did make sure that I got all of my holes in my slots all fixed. So, and I just have it ready for a plain weave pattern again. So it's not like, you know, I'm not doing anything fancy with it necessarily. I'm playing with color this time in a very deliberate manner as opposed to the random manner that I used for this one. So I went ahead and took care of all of the holes and slots, and I tied on. Now here's another thing. Last time when I did this, because you know, I'm just getting restarted, it didn't occur to me that I should really be doing smaller bundles. Like, it kind of occurred to me after it didn't work the first time because I was getting really strong V's in my work when I tried to start. I think I did that live with all of you, and I'm like, you know, I'm going to back out. Clearly I need to retie all of these, blah, blah, blah. So I made all of my bundles smaller, but they needed to be smaller still, because when I was watching one of Tammy Poff's videos, one of the things that she said was that you really need to make sure that your knots that you tie on, your little bundles that you tie on, are no more than about 1 inch wide in order to have a more even and balanced beginning to your project, so you don't have as much waste. And I definitely had like at least twice that on this project. So for this one, I made sure that I tied on in little bundles of 10 because I'm using a 10-dent reed, except for out here. I have 12 in this one because I had a couple extra threads that I had added in for the selvages. Now the other thing is that I started from the middle out, which is what you're supposed to do so that you can get the best tension, and I did use a surgeon's knot and tightened down and then did it again. So now we're ready to get started weaving, and I just have like this funky stripe pattern going on, and I did eventually settle on I don't think any of the color groups that I put up. I'm using vanilla vodka, rotary phone, favorite sweater, and school uniform. So this was what I eventually decided on because it was kind of fun. But because I had all of those fun like math errors, I think what I'm going to do is make my warp, you know, make this one that I've put on. And then I think I might do it again in one of the other colorways because I really liked all of the colors that I pulled out and put together. And I think it's a lot of fun. So you know, I might do that. And then I'd also like to do a warp with some hand spun. Hand spun. So now the question becomes, what do you guys think? Looking at my stripe pattern, here, I'll show you my stripe pattern again. Here's my pretty stripe pattern. Should I do an all white warp, excuse me, weft on my warp, so you'll just see like reasonably strong vertical lines? Or should I use some color in my weft as well and kind of get like some stripe play going on? What do you think? What should I do? Should I do all white or should I do some stripes? So now you have to actually comment and tell me, because I can't decide. I don't know what I want to do. So I need some guidance. I need some suggestions from you guys on whether I should do just the all white weft or if I should do some color in my weft. You know, I wanted to do a little more color play, and this is definitely going to get me some color play, but I just don't know. What should I do? What do you think? Do I have any comments? No, nobody comments. All right. Well, while you guys think about that and go typey on your keyboard or your phone, I'm going to take my selvages that I salvaged and I am going to put them in and beat them in place so that I can at least sort of get this project started. And yes, I did go grab my fabric strips, mostly because I don't know where my like waste yarn is. I'm sure I have some somewhere. But this is just as good as putting in cardboard strips, right? I mean, it's fabric and people make rugs out of this stuff, I think. So it should be okay, right? Should be okay. I'm not beating it in either. I'm just sort of like laying it in, hoping that it looks okay. But I think it'll separate. See if I can get this to go through. Might have to tie it on. I think it'll separate my warp nicely so that I can get started actually adding in, you know, my yarn. And honestly, I have, oh, of course that didn't go through. I have so much of this right now, like so many of these little strips and things, that I am half tempted to try doing some kind of raggy rug. So why not? Because, you know, I've got all these fabric strips, like already kind of pre-cut. I could do some kind of really funky thing. That could be fun too. We could do funky rag rug with like all my fabric strips that I've cut from my quilts and, well, everything. I don't even know what all I've got. And that's as much as it's gonna go. Okay, let's see how this works. Now I'm gonna beat it. Actually, not bad. That is not bad. I don't know. I'm going to show you guys. What do you think? That is not bad. Nice little waist edge. I know. I could maybe use a little bit more there. I screwed that up a little bit by playing with it. That's not terrible. That's not terrible putting the fabric in. I'm going to try beating that one more time and see if that fixes the problem I just made. Not bad. Not bad. Might need to put one more strip in. See what it looks like in neutral again. Well, you know, maybe not. It's, yeah, you know, it's really not terrible. And it's kind of fun putting the strip in. This, now I kind of get why people like making these rag rugs. This is not bad. I'm not doing that with this warp though. But something for future. Because I do like finding ways to use all my little scraps and things whenever possible. And I was watching, and you know, I do the TikToks, right? So I do all the TikTok videos, but I also subscribe to some of the various accounts there. One of the accounts is this weaver, and she had just pulled off like a whole bunch of waste because a lot of times with floor looms, especially production floor looms, you just tie your warp to the old warp and move forward. And you know, so sometimes you can end up with yards and yards and yards of waste because you just tied on. So she pulled all the waste off to undress her loom completely. And then she was taking all of the waste and she was weaving it into another piece. So she was using all of those, you know, tied on pieces of warp to start a whole new project. I was like, that's a fun way to use those up. I mean, don't we all love stuff like that? I mean, that's part of what I did with this thing, was I was using up all those leftover balls of the Teresa Ruche 3 too, because I was like, you know, I don't want this to go to waste, and I'm tired of it just sitting in my tubs. And I mean, it's nice to have some, you know, little bits and bobs of yarn hanging around, but it's also nice to use them up. It makes you feel very accomplished. So anyway, I like how this is looking. So, okay, here's our question now. What should I do? Do I do stripes? Do I do all white? What should I do? I mean, it's not exactly white. It's like an off-white, but I really like it. I mean, I guess I can start with that. I can see if it's enough, if I want to keep going with it. And then if it's not enough, I can throw some color in. What do you guys think? I don't know. What do you guys think? I was really hoping that there would be more comments, but oh well. I don't think I've done... Oh, there we go. Hot diggy. Willis says color. Kathy says I have nothing for weaving projects. What kind of fabric? So the yarn is the Mian cotton. The fabric is, this is some leftover, what is this? Sweet as Honey, designed by Bonnie Christine for Art Gallery Fabrics. It's a selvage. Oh, and Kathy, you have Pendleton selvages that you're planning to crochet or something. One batch is fuzzy, one batch is more typical woven wool. A rag rug would be fun. I know. See, I'm telling you. So here's the thing. All right, we're abandoning the warp just for a minute, because I'm going to take you over to my sewing area, and I'm going to flip this around really briefly. So yeah, I have a problem, and I like to sew. These are all of the skinny strips. This box still has some skinny strips in it, but it has more large pieces. But this one is like all skinny strips, and then I couldn't throw it away. So all that stuff that I cut off with my serger, I threw in this box as well. And then these are scraps. Oh, I don't want to put that one in there. Go up there. These are scraps of knit fabric. So this is my skinny scraps woven fabric and my knit fabric scraps. Ooh, there's more. Oh, and look, a little dog here. We'll throw that away. Anyway, so I keep all of my scraps because I'm like, there's got to be something I can do with these. And they don't take up that much space yet. But I'm a little bit of a hoarder because I hate to, you know, need something. Like I needed waste yarn, and I didn't have any waste yarn down here, so I just grabbed some fabric, right? Some fabric strip, and used it in my weaving. And you know, and that worked. It really worked. And I still have some left, and I can probably take it out and use it again, to be perfectly honest. So I might just keep this in my little kit and have it for when I need it, because this is great warp separator. I'm gonna have to take this out anyhow. Oops, there. I know, now I have to make it pretty. I'm obsessed. I am obsessed. There. All right. Yeah, the serger strips are fun. Yeah. So the skinny strips are usually left from rotary cutting. Sometimes they're from the serger, but yeah, usually it's from the rotary cutter when I'm quilting, or when I am, I make these like, they're really cool blankets, but they call them like rag blankets or something, where it's a sandwich of like a plain flannel, a cute print flannel on one side, this plain in the middle, and then a cute cotton on the outside. And then you do strips, alternating strips, and you make one whole side cotton and one whole side flannel, and then you rag it to one side or the other. And so I made a whole bunch of those because I had this really bad habit of buying flannel because it was so cute at Joann. Darn you, Joann. And then I had nothing to do with it, because what do you do with all that flannel? So, and I don't like sleeping on flannel, to be perfectly honest. So yeah, I ended up making blankets out of it. They are super cute blankets. I gave a ton of them away for Christmas and birthdays and stuff last year. And I very quickly knocked out most of the flannel in my stash. And my stash is behind me here. So this side is my woven stash, and this side is my knit stash. And the knit stash has clearly taken over, and I really need to wash some of the new fabric that I got, because I need to sew. That was part of what I was going to do. was, you know, ooh, a mix of fabric and fiber would also be fun. I don't want to do that with this warp, but I do want to do that now. Cheryl, darn you, what ideas you have now given me. Yes, Will, I definitely think I'm going to make a rug now with strips of fabric because I have discovered that I now have a use for all of those things that I saved. I feel like a little bit embarrassed and yet kind of happy. So, and the nice thing is I can get some coned cotton that will fit in my 8-dent reed. Yes. And that'll work nicely, I think, for a rug. There'll be a lot fewer ends than this. Boy, this was a lot of ends to work with. And, you know, I know about that because it is a 10-dent reed, but sometimes your brain doesn't make the connections. So anyway, I'm just going to do really simple plain weave on this. And I'm definitely going to start with some of the vanilla vodka because I want that at the edge. And I don't think I'm going to do fringe on this one. I haven't fully decided, but I don't think I'm going to do fringe on this one. I'm pretty sure my plan will be to hem the edge. I won't serge the edge like I did on the first one. But you know, that serged edge is holding up nicely. It's not coming out. But I think I will go ahead and I'll just hem this one down. I don't know if I'll do it by hand or if I'll do it by machine. This, by the way, is how you wind your shuttles. I think I did teach you all this, but you do figure 8s on one side and load up 1/2, and then you do figure 8s on the other side. And I'm going to load this thing as full as I can manage it, because I know that I will be using a lot of white. I definitely want to use my white as like a separator, sort of like I did here, where I've got white color, white color, white color all the way across. I definitely want more of that. I just don't know if I should do all white or if I should put the color stripes in. Now, I think Willa said, yeah, put in the color stripes, so that's tempting. I don't know. Do any of you who are watching today do any weaving, or are you other fibery artists, peoples? I know Kathy does other fibery artists stuff. And I know, Cheryl, you at least spin and knit. And then Willa, I don't know, what else do you do, Willa? I know you do a lot of different things. Let's see, and is Tamara watching today? Tamara does all kinds of stuff. Like, Tamara does all kinds of stuff. She hasn't said anything. Yeah, I don't know, I thought about making kits for this warp, but then I screwed up the count. And Kathy, you know, weaving is kind of fun. It is. You have a loom like mine, but you haven't hardly used it. Why not, Willa? It does take up a little space. I mean, and I'm in my downstairs, so I have a little more space down here to do this. Ideally, what I'd like to do is kind of have like a little more dedicated area of one of my rooms to my crafty pursuits and try to keep a lot of my crafting stuff there. But right now I have like one of my spinning wheels is upstairs. One of my spinning wheels is in the guest room. The loom is over here in this corner. The sewing stuff is in the other corner. It kind of works. You know, it kind of works. But, okay. I've wound on as much as I am really comfortable with here, so we'll at least get started on the weaving today, because that'll be fun. I don't know where that accent came from. I apologize. That was weird. Okay, and I think I brought it down here. Let me check. Yes. All right. So I used the warp estimator from Tammy Poff, and I know you cannot read this, but I used the warp estimator from Tammy Poff to figure out like vaguely what was going on with this warp. So it's really nice. It's free. You just go to her website and you can plug in all your numbers So like I said, I wanted a finished width of 22 inches, and I assumed 10% drawn in shrinkage because, you know, it's okay if it's a little bit wider. I'm not making this to a very specific size. I was just making it like a size that sounded good. And then that meant my warp width needed to be 24.4 inches, and since I have a 10-dent read-in, that meant I needed 244 ends, which I do have. And I said I wanted my finished length to be like 96 inches, and I didn't really know what my take-up at shrinkage would be, so I just guesstimated 5%. And then that told me how long my warp length needed to be. However, I don't think I have quite as much waist warp as what this assumes, which is fine. It's fine. But anyway, it gave me all of the numbers that I would need in order to make my warp, which was kind of nice. So if you are weaving and you need a little help figuring all of that out, I can recommend Tammy Poff's warp estimator on her website. As you know, I've talked about this poor woman a lot recently because I've watched like all of her YouTube videos and found them very useful, and she's fun to listen to. So, you know, if you're getting into weaving and you need a little extra help, I'm probably not an authority that you should be following. I can tell you a lot of what not to do because I've made many mistakes. But Tammy is probably a good source for what to do. So just mentioning that. And Willa wants to weave. You don't know what you're doing. Oh, well, it's, you know, you just got to jump in there and go for it, man. You just got to go for it. Let's see. And you spin, tat, knit, crochet, embroider, cross stitch. Oh, you do just about everything. Yeah, see, it's all kinds of fun. And Cheryl does the knit, crochet, tatting, quilting, and spinning. Boy, look at all these talented people hanging out with me today. So you're having trouble setting up and warping. Well, I can tell you that the instructions are pretty clear if you have the rigid heddle loom anyway. Sorry, I don't want to knock you off. In the Inventive Weaving on a little loom, and we are going to get some of these books in because I really like it and I want a copy. I want a personal copy because I find it very useful. This one has been the best one. I borrowed 4 or 5 books in the library, as well as a couple of books through like we have Overdrive, and we have, which is, I think it's also called Libby. Overdrive, Libby, and Hoopla. So I borrowed a bunch of books through my library just to kind of get a sense for it. And then I watched Tammy Poff, Kelly Casanova, Liz Gibson, and I joined the Rigid Heddle Weaving group on Facebook. And I mean, I do come to this with a little bit of knowledge, but it's been a long time. So I did a lot of watching and learning and reading, and the best sources for me so far have been Inventive Weaving on a Little Loom, which is this guy, and then Tammy Poff's videos. Kromsky has a decent series as well, dealing specifically with their looms, which is nice. So if you are having trouble or needing extra help, those are some really good sources. I can tell you that I really liked the direct method. I have done the warping board, the indirect method. I know that my loom can be a warping board. I just don't enjoy that method personally. So I would rather just walk it, you know, get my steps in and do the direct warping and then the winding on. And honestly, the winding on is the harder part for me personally because, you know, I don't have a great way to do that. You have to weight it somehow. So it was really nice that Avi and Ina helped me yesterday. I mean, my 2-year-old helping me, right? But they did because Avi brought me the dumbbells and I attached half my warp to each of 2 dumbbells. So, you know, half on each dumbbell. 5 pounds on the dumbbells. And then when I got to the end of it, Ina helped me by grabbing both sides of the warp and walking it up and pulling on it, which was entertaining. So cute and entertaining. But it was really nice that she tried to help me. And that seemed to really help a lot. So, I mean, I can tell you all, Willa, if you want more information, I can tell you in detail all of the many mistakes that I've made. I have tried to tell it over the YouTube videos, but sometimes I remember things later and I'm like, oh, I forgot to tell them about that. Yeah, because the setup isn't hard. It's just, you know, a series of steps that you have to follow in order to get it on right. But I can definitely tell you that the 1-inch tie-ups make a huge difference. Look at how much nicer that, that packing went in. And you can use cardboard strips. I've seen people do that. You can use waste yarn, which works as well. I did the 3 strips of fabric, which I think worked pretty well. And I'm really quite pleased with. You know, I probably should have put like 1 more strip in. Probably should have put 1 more strip in. I probably could have get this all the way, not quite. If I had not left so much of a tail, I could have gotten this all the way across again. But anyway, I like this fabric along the edge. That seemed to work decently. But I'm just going to go ahead and throw in a couple rows of this vanilla vodka, which I think is a really fun name. We have fun names for the Mian cotton, and it's fingering weight. I like that. I like the fingering weight. Yeah, so you do have to account for the shrinkage. That is one thing in that warp estimator and the weft estimator that she specifically has in here, is that she has the draw in and shrinkage, which is this way, and the take up and shrinkage, which is this way. And there's also a little piece on here that says extra for sampling if desired. Because a lot of times, if you don't know your shrinkage or you're really worried about your shrinkage, you add extra warp, you do a little sample at the beginning, you cut it off, you throw it in the wash and see what happens, however you're going to wash it, and then you retie and continue to weave, because now you have an idea of how much shrinkage you're going to have. So that's helpful. Okay, now I can't remember if I was in an upshed or a downshed. So that's a downshed, so I'm ready for an upshed. So anyway, yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with the weaving thing. I am no expert. This is not like my best craft, but it is something that I can do downstairs with Ina while she plays, because I actually have a really cute little area under my staircase, and we have a little area set up there with like a kitchen, a little kitchen for Ina, so she has her own little house under the staircase, and she likes to play in her little house. It's very cute. So she likes to come downstairs and do that. And I was looking for something that I could kind of keep down here that didn't take a ton of thought, so that when I was down here with her, I had something that I could work on. Because, you know, I'm not comfortable just having her downstairs alone, even though you can hear her because I have an open floor plan. So anyway, what are some other things that I learned? So I learned on my selvages that I kind of pull my yarn almost all the way down on my selvage side, whichever one I'm on, and then I am putting a pretty good angle up, and then you're only supposed to beat once, and then I just hope that it goes in correctly. Every so often I do end up beating twice. I know that my weaving is going to be a little more open with the 10-dent reed and this particular yarn, just because it's really probably would be better in a 12-dent reed. See, and I ran into the same issue. That's where I have trouble, is knowing which reed dent to use, because this is a fingering weight, so I assumed that it would be fine in the 10-dent, but then as I was warping it, I could see that it was, you know, maybe a little more open than I'd like, but I also know that it's cotton, so I am going to have some shrinkage. So I'm just going with it because I have the yarn. I might as well play with it, right? Might as well play with it. So anyway, we're gonna try it out, and hopefully my selvages will be better this time around. Ooh, let's not hook it on that. I also do this a lot, where I hook my yarn on my either my front my front, whatever, the handle here. I hook it on the handle, or I hook it on the nut, or I hook it on the end of my apron rod as I'm getting started. So I have issues with that as well. So, like, you just make mistakes and you learn from them and you keep going. That's really what it comes down to. So anyway, I don't think it looks terrible. I kind of like this. I'll have to show you guys. Oh, I forgot to put my tail in. Well, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm gonna sew that down anyway. I'm not doing fringe. So now the other thing is, a lot of times I tend to just rest my, I don't think you're supposed to do this, but I tend to just rest my shuttle here on my weaving. And yeah, pretty sure you're not supposed to do that, but I found it easier than putting it in my lap. Another thing that I found is that when I really get into weaving, which I'm not being very fast or aggressive right now, is that I tuck my belly right up against my loom and I pull my loom forward, and then I tend to put my feet on the little bar under here so that I can have a little pressure to hold it down, so that as I am throwing and beating and I'm putting a little speed into it, that I have something to hold it down. So anyway, I learned a lot with my first piece, and I'm hoping to learn even more with my second. I'm so glad that you all have joined me for my weaving journey, and I hope you'll be back again. Don't forget that Monday we have our history of lace knitting. Wednesday I will be back again with more Weaving Wednesday, and you know, I like the white, but I think I might put a little color in because that sounds fun. So maybe I'll do like 2 or 3 inches of white, and I'll throw a stripe of color, and I'll just repeat that. That could be fun. I think that would be fun. I think that would be fun. And if I don't like it, I'll take it out, because you know, you can do that in weaving. But anyway, here's what it's starting to look like. I don't know if you can see it. Not terrible, not terrible. I like it. It looks interesting, and I'm gonna go with it. So, you know, I'm having fun. It's all about having fun, right? Don't forget, if you need any Kromsky items, that you can order them through the shop, and we do have rewards. So for every $100 that you spend, you do get $5 back. We have free shipping in the US with orders of $85 plus, and we do have lots and lots of Mian cotton. So even if you don't want to weave with it, you can totally knit or crochet with this stuff. It's fabulous. It's fingering weight, and it's like just soft enough, and it's just squishy enough. And I don't even like cotton. I don't like cotton, but I like this stuff. Look at how pretty it is. See, so nice. It's so nice. I'm telling you, Mian cotton, fingering weight, lovely stuff, and inexpensive. It's like $5.50. Might even be $5 a ball, $5 or $5.50. I can't remember. It's very inexpensive for what it is, especially for the quality. Nice stuff. Lots of colors too. We have lots of colors, like 45, 50 colors, lots of colors. Can't even remember. So many colors. Anyway, so don't forget to tune in for our other live feeds. Tina, again, will be back on Friday, but she's an hour earlier. Make sure that you are posting your year of self-care to whatever social media you like. So long as you tag Black Sheep Fiber Emporium, we can find you, and you'll be entered. And every single posting counts as an entry. So I have Mian here, and Tina has some in Hillsboro. So we have it in both places. And of course you need buttered toast. I might have a couple left. I found a few when I was looking. So if she doesn't have any, she'll let me know, because I did find just a very, very, very few buttered toast when I was digging. It's one of our most popular colors, buttered toast. That's Ina's favorite thing right now too, buttered toast. Anyway, so yeah, Kathy, send me a message, send Tina a message, or both of us, whatever, and we'll figure it out. It's okay if she's in Arizona, because we have minions in Hillsboro, so it's totally fine. So it's totally fine. Anyway, so yeah, anyway, I will see you all next week. Do remember to take care of yourself. How do I always say this? Physically, mentally, emotionally, craftually. Keep crafting and having fun. And if you have questions or ideas for things you want me to teach or live videos, yeah, send us an email, send us a message, so that you know, we can help you out and we can have fun in the process, because I like teaching. And you know, I hope that hope you're having a little bit of fun listening to me jabber on about what I'm learning not to do when it comes to weaving. And cross your fingers that we'll have duckies in a couple of weeks too. Cross your fingers. Because you know that I will totally put the ducklings on live, because ducklings, so cute. Although they do poop a lot, and they go beep, 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 beep. But they're so cute and they make Ina so happy. And they make me happy because I love my ducklings. So cross your fingers, we're going to have a few. Anyway, I will see you all on Monday. Keep crafting. And don't forget, if you want to join in with the Blue Caterpillar Shawlette Knit Along, totally still can. And you can always find my videos on YouTube. Tina's trying to put hers up as well, but you can find all of mine on YouTube. I try really hard to make sure that I download and save every single video that I do live so that if you want to, you can go watch it again. And all of the information that I give you is still available in the future. So I'll see you guys on Monday. Have a good weekend, and don't forget to tune in to Tina's chat on Friday, an hour earlier. So hope I've said that enough. See you guys next time.